So this is the Platinum video, the embarrassing fall of the Night Elves.
During the recent events in Warcraft lore, the Night Elves just can't stop losing.
Oh,
but
God.
what if I told
They're
you
taking L's.
they've been on this downtrend for thousands of years and have fallen tremendously from the powerful empire they once were?
Okay. Oh.
Our story begins 15,000 years ago on Azeroth, where a tribe of dark trolls discovered the Well of Eternity.
Yeah.
The Well was formed from an ancient titanic event on Azeroth and left a limitless font of arcane power that surged with energy.
Yeah?
This energy transformed the life around it, including the dark trolls. They evolved to have similar characteristics to the Titans and would adopt a new name, Kaldorei, meaning...
That is so cool, though. I remember when I learned this for the first time. Yeah, like, I kind of forgot that too, LSP. Like, Night Elves, they originated from trolls. It was like trolls that, I mean, he just said it. It was trolls that got, like, dipped into the World of Eternity and then turned them... It made them sexy. Yeah, it turned them sexy. I mean, some people find trolls kind of hot too, you know. There's a little bit for everybody here, right? So they turn different, right? That's for sure.
Children of the stars.
No, they don't. I mean, you know, it's a different vibe, but you know, we don't discriminate in here, guys.
They learn to worship the moon goddess of life. Elune. Now, the details of who Elune actually is still shrouded in mystery.
What was that?
Which is pretty rare now in the Warcraft universe. We do know a lot about Elune's sister goddess, but really, that's it.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, this milady is from Shadowlands, right? Whenever we came to Shadowlands lore, my brain completely stepped out, man. It was so hard to even figure out what was happening anymore, man. The big bad evil jailer at this point, right? What's up, Not Piggy?
Sister goddess.
So did the lore. I feel like it's just gone so off the rails at this point, right? Like, I'm a really simple guy. Like, I love, like, standard fantasy games, right? Where, like, you know, there's some orcs, there's some humans, there's, like, some dragons flying around, and maybe, like, some elemental lords, right? But this has just gone into intergalactic space battle with, like, a jailer that's controlling the world. There's time travel intertwined as well. It is such a confusing concept, right? Retail is all about raiding and PvP. Yeah, but, I mean, we're talking strictly about lore right now, not really, like, the game itself. I'm speaking like from a lore perspective, right? Like my brain stopped. But I feel like for me, it was such a turning point when the Lich King was done with, right? Like when Arthas, you know, died and then Bolvar sat on that big throne. For me, that was like, okay, now what, right? Because that was the original Warcraft 3 lore and stuff like that, right? The plot crashes and burn ever since they moved into time travel territory. I feel like it happens a lot just for stories in general with time travel, you know?
Really, that's it.
Yeah.
And speaking of Elune, her son, Cenarius, taught the Night Elves the affinity for druidic magic.
Okay.
The demigod would be instrumental in the upbringing of the Kaldorei, and through his teachings, druidism and the protection of nature would be a core part of their society.
Okay.
The other side of Kaldorei society developed an affinity for the arcane. They used the powers of the Well to build wondrous temples and expand their ever-growing empire. At the helm of this expansion was their exemplary ruler, Queen Azshara.
Oh, the big milady.
It's Brittany, bitch.
Wait, what?
Queen Azshara was born with glowing golden eyes, a sign of her future greatness, which was more than true. She was beautiful, strategic, strong-willed, and ruthless. Now, in Night Elf society, there was a clear separation between the arcane magic noble users, called Highborn, and your typical Kaldorei. But that didn't stop everyone in the Empire unanimously praising their new queen. They loved her so much, they renamed the capital city to Zinashari.
Oh yeah, they were simping hard, man. They were going all in for her, man. Holy crap.
Meaning glory to Azshara. And the only real enemy that threatened the Kaldorei Empire was the trolls. And they were easily crushed because when you have a font of unlimited power and soldiers that live for 10,000 years, it makes fighting pretty easy. Azshara kind of just let the trolls live in the mountains of Zuldazar and told them to never expand into Kaldorei lands, and practically the entire continent was now under Kaldorei rule. But Azshara wanted more.
Greedy.
The queen of the Kaldorei made a pact with who she would later discover was Sargeras, the leader of the Burning Legion.
Yeah, she got corrupted, right, I believe. Thank you, Lucas, for the prime, by the way.
Wanted nothing more than to wipe out all of the lesser races on Azeroth, making every inch of the planet under Kaldorei rule.
Hey, that's kind of messed up, man. Hey, what is the Murlocs and the Tauren and I mean, I see what the Murlocs have done, to be fair. We've all seen what the Murlocs have done everywhere, man. Those goddamn mana potion drinking, net casting. Oh my god, Murlocs. To be fair, that I do understand.
And the Well of Eternity was used as a portal to summon a horde of demons, kicking off the War of the Ancients.
Yeah.
And okay, I've talked about this war probably like 13 times on this channel, because it's probably the most important event to ever happen on Azeroth, and is also the point where the power of the Night Elves starts to fall off of a cliff. Okay, so the war ends with all of the demons being banished from Azeroth, but also the Well of Eternity explodes, and the entire
so it's split up into like,
your planet is fractured, and like 90% of the Kaldorei Empire is destroyed. After the destruction of the planet, at the brink of death, Azshara and her loyal subjects got turned into fish people.
Oh no, man. Dude, she turned it. I mean, maybe some people like that, to be fair, but she changed, man. She changed quite a bit. I can fix her. Okay, guys, we need to calm down.
By the old god N'Zoth. So they technically
Did you really say fish bussy? Oh my god, dude. Guys, we've gone too far at this point, okay? The internet has gone too far. Alright, there's nothing called a fus. Okay.
Night Elves anymore, but they live in Night Elf ruins underwater. More on them later. When the dust settled, the remaining Kaldorei attempted to pick up the pieces of their now fractured empire. Illidan Stormrage, being the dumbass that he is, had vials of water from the Well of Eternity and used it to
Listen, Illidan was badass, okay? He was not stupid. He was a cool guy, alright? Yes, he did have some, attachment issues and some problems, with his relationships, But he meant well, okay?
A new well. Which... what the hell? What are you trying to do? Blow up the world again? He was imprisoned for 10,000 years after that.
God.
And the dragon aspects helped build a new world.
Yeah, I know. Illidan is the biggest simp in WoW lore, but I still found him badass, okay? Maybe it's because he looked so cool with the warglaives and stuff like that, and I thought he was really cool when I was a kid. But yeah, he is a little bit of a... yeah, he got cucked, right? Let's be honest. He straight up just got cucked by his brother. Damn, that must suck, actually, now that I think about that.
Over the well, which accomplished a multitude of things. The World Tree of Teldrassil would regulate the power of the new well and mask its power from evildoers trying to seek it out. It would also use the energies of the well to heal the world, and most importantly, it would make the Kaldorei immortal, so they would not die of old age or disease. This was a new age for the Kaldorei, and the leader that rose to power was High Priestess Tyrande Whisperwind and Malfurion Stormrage.
Okay. What?
Well, it was Malfurion when he wasn't sleeping, hanging out in the spirit realm of the Emerald Dream, with other druids doing druid stuff. I don't know, it's kind of vague. Point is, it was mainly Tyrande who had to deal with the aftermath of the Sundering. After this event, Night Elf society pivoted to be heavily focused on a druidic lifestyle, and the use of arcane magic was forbidden, punishable by death.
Dude, I feel like Night Elves are very judgmental. Learning from this, it feels like they have a little bit of like a god complex because they turn from trolls into Night Elves. They definitely do, right? They are, yeah. The druids have origins in our Emerald Dream since they're all there and all the time or what. It's a little bit like Goldshire, right? But that's how it goes. I think Night Elves are the strict Persian race. I don't know, man. It is what it is, right?
This was controversial, to say the least, and the remaining Highborn, who had an affinity for the arcane, thought the banning of magic was for cowards. Dathramar Sunstrider, their leader, explained that the Highborn had been using arcane magic for thousands of years before Azshara even ever became the ruler. And it was impossible to deny the great power of the arcane. They were going to continue using it no matter what.
He does not care.
It was their birthright, and they weren't going to let any lowborn, tree-hugging hippies tell them that they can't use it. The
Hey,
Highborn were
yo.
then exiled / willingly left Kaldorei
man.
society to start their own empire in the Eastern Kingdoms, and would later become the High Elves, and then the Blood Elves we know today.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I like the way that he's explaining this because it leads into the Blood Elves, right? Because the Blood Elves, they had like a really strong affinity for the arcane, and they actually got so addicted to the arcane, right? That I guess some of them, Kiltha Sunstrider got, went a little bit mad for it.
The next big event in Kaldorei history was the War of the Satyr.
Okay.
Satyrs were once night elves, twisted by demonic corruption, and they combined their efforts in a unified force to attack the night elves. In order to combat these demons, some druids tapped into an ancient druid form.
Oh no.
Forbidden to use because of how dangerous it was.
Oh no.
These druids were called the Druid of the Pack, and in their wolf form, they were unstoppable killing machines, but in their frenzy, they could not discern
The forbidden furry form. Oh no, they tapped into the power of the furries, and with that, they could beat back the satyrs.
friend from foe. Instead of killing these crazed druids, they banished them to the Emerald Dream, and 10,000 years later, they would re-emerge and become the Worgen.
You know this guy right there, man. That guy right there and his stupid sons have killed so many hardcore characters, man. It is unbelievable.
We know today. And let me just say, it's hilarious. The Night Elves are like, arcane magic? Yeah, no, that stuff is dangerous, and it's corruptive, not good.
Everything is bad.
Let's ban it all, and then use druid magic instead. And then right after, they tap into corruptive druid magic, and they start murdering each other.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Night Elves are very logical. The next war is the War of the Shifting Sands.
Okay.
The old god Cthulhu and his insectoid creatures, called the Karaji, stirred awake Silithus, and the Night Elf forces traveled down to snuff them out. And then they got the ever-loving crap beaten out of them, and they were forced to retreat. And in fact, they needed help from the dragons to bail them out, and imprison the old god threat once again.
Okay.
Perhaps the war would have gone better if they didn't, hemorrhage themselves, and they actually used arcane magic, maybe?
Nah.
Between the War of the Shifting Sands and the events of Warcraft 3, there really is no substantial history about the Night Elves. They have just been living in seclusion in the northern reaches of Kalimdor.
Chilling in their place.
I've ragged on them a lot in this video, but the depiction of Night Elves around the time of Warcraft 3 is by far some of my favorite world building done in the Warcraft universe.
That's cool.
They're incredibly cool. To outsiders, the Kaldorei have become this elusive, powerful force deep in the enchanted woods of northern Kalimdor.
Wicked.
7-foot-tall Amazonian sentinels stalk trespassers in their lands. From within the dark brush of the forest, their glowing eyes hunt their prey, shimmering with bright white light reminiscent of the goddess they worship. Their tactics are flawless.
Imagine you walk into the woods, and then you see this coming at you. A bunch of 2-meter tall miladies with like daggers just rushing at you, bro. Holy crap. Okay. Maybe some people do want to walk into those woods.
Having honed their skills for tens of thousands of years.
Goddamn.
When Gromhillscream tried and failed to claim Ashenvale, he is quoted saying...
Guys, you gotta realize, they don't... They want to hurt you, okay, guys? Just so we're clear, yeah?
These women fight with unmatched savagery. I've never seen their equal. They are perfect warriors.
Oh, shoot.
And that is Gromhillscream.
Damn.
The war guy. Hulking druids the size of refrigerators can feel your very presence.
Hey, I just want to say, refrigerators can be very small. All right? That's not a very good depiction of like something that's big, because not all fridges are very big, okay? And I know that firsthand.
Trespassing into the forests they have formed a deep spiritual bond with. They transform into savage beasts that can rip through a group of soldiers in a single swipe. The Kaldorei are not nice. They're intolerant, savage, spiteful warriors of nature that hold dominion over the forests of Kalimdor. And it's badass. During the Third War, the Night Elves fought against demons, Scourge, Horde, and Alliance. Pretty much everyone that wasn't a Night Elf, and they suffered.
Dude, they are assholes. They just think everything that's not a night elf just deserves to die. Dude, they are a bunch of actual assholes. What the hell? You know what? I don't care that Teldrassil burned down. You know what? I think Teldrassil deserved to be burned down. How about that?
For, kind of heavy losses.
They'd had it
partly
coming.
because of their stubborn nature. Their demigod Cenarius was slain by fell orcs, and the Kaldorei would not team up to defeat the demonic threat until the very last battle for Mount Hyjal, where Malfurion sounded a horn to rip Archimonde apart with 1,000 wisps and blow up the world tree of Teldrassil to defeat him, ending the Kaldorei's immortality in the process. Between the time of Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft...
It's such a shame how they turned this epic event of, like, really important Warcraft lore into one of the most boring raids. But, I mean, I guess they made the raid in a way so that it would be similar to, like, what happened with the Warcraft 3 and stuff, but damn, that raid was so disappointing.
Immortality in the process. Between the time of Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft, the Kaldorei grew a new world tree of Teldrassil, and built their new capital of Darnassus.
Sure, nothing
and the
bad
Night
will
Elves
happen.
turned from these stoic, elusive, savage protectors of nature, and now they're...
Yep.
Okay. Night Elves in WoW aren't necessarily bad, but they have definitely lost the edge that made them a step above the rest. Instead of being these aggressive tree huggers, now they've kind of just turned into, like, tree huggers.
Yep.
This is partially because gameplay triumphs over lore constantly in Warcraft's story, and the Night Elves join the Alliance. Yeah, the faction that is on the other side of the planet, and now they take orders from a king who has lived a small fraction of their lives and has an even smaller fraction of combat experience. Throughout Classic WoW, the Night Elves are dealing with the corruption of Teldrassil, it's corrupted, and the Horde's logging expedition to Ashenvale. And for the next 2 expansions, Night Elves exist, but their story and their place in the world really doesn't change. During the Cataclysm, the world has been broken by a cataclysm, and the Night Elves suffer considerable damage because of this.
I will say, like, I was not a big fan of, like, it was a cool way that they changed the zones, but... I do like my classic, right? I do like my classic zones, but it was a massive undertaking how much that they changed, though, to be fair. It was a crazy big change to the whole world, right? It's not cozy. Yeah, it's not as cozy anymore. It's, like, changed away from what it was, right? But you can't really deny that it was a crazy, big, bold move, right, to do that whole thing.
Considerable damage because of this. During these troubling times, we actually get a shake-up in Kaldorei society. More than ever shade.
It was so needed. Classic is full of so many large empty spaces. I mean, I know a lot of people complain about, like, but the classic world and, like, they ruined the whole thing, but at that point in like the expansions, nobody even ever went there. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, when you play Wrath right now, how often do you go run around Kalimdor and stuff like that? Not Kalimdor, Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor, right? Like, it's just, it's not really used, right? So they wanted to, like, make it in a way so that you could reuse the zones in a way. And it was a cool attempt, but it just wouldn't work that well, right? Pretty often. It's the same with TPC, right? You just go into Outland. That's just where you are now. You don't really, you never run over to Kalimdor and Eastern Kingdoms because there's just no reason to, unless you go to Blasted Lands to get to Outland, right? Wall jump into Hyjal was fun in Classic. That is very true. And I think that's why Classic is just so good, man. God damn it. Why does everything I talk about end up being Classic? Wow. What is wrong with me? Okay, let's continue.
Leader of the few remaining Highborn left on Azeroth apologized for all the blowing up the world stuff, and the very few remaining Highborn were reintegrated into society. But the amount of Highborn that actually exist is very, very small, and really is just an excuse for Night Elf mages to now be a playable race and class combo. Also, during the Cataclysm, the Worgen broke free from the Emerald Dream and ransacked the town of Gilneas. Since the Night Elves are mainly responsible for Worgens even existing in the first place, they help out where they could. And
why is this guy... You know what? I'm just not gonna ask. We're gonna just continue watching. What's up, Headshot? Good to see you. The
Alliance. Meanwhile, tensions between the Horde and the Alliance were ramping up. Horde offensives pushed into Darkshore and Ashenvale, but were repelled by the elves. Although it wasn't a decisive victory. In the zone of Stone Talon Mountains, a giant goblin-engineered bomb was dropped on Teldrassil Grove, killing soldiers and innocents alike. Finally, over on Mount Hyjal, the World Tree of Nordrassil has grown back, but the Night Elves still aren't immortal. And they play a huge role in the feeding...
Oh my god, it was so weird seeing Ragnaros with legs. That I will say. I never got to do the raid, so I've heard a lot of people say the raid is amazing. But it was so weird seeing it with legs. It's just so out of place, I feel like, to have like an elemental running around with legs like that, right? He never forgot leg day. That is very true. I kind of do wish, honestly, a little bit that I didn't quit back in Cataclysm so I could get to do some of those raids, because I also never got to do Throne of Thunder in Mob, which I do regret a little bit too, because people said it was like one of the best raids ever made, really, right? So yeah, he looks Kikachat with legs. He does look pretty, you know, muscular and stuff. What's up, Schnack, by the way? Cataclassic soon. You can enjoy the experience this time. Yeah, but it's gonna be a different way to experience nowadays, right? Than it was back in the day. But I mean, we'll see, Ravana. We'll see. Ragnaros looks like he could crack a Walnut with... Why am I speaking like that? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna move on.
Set up a base nearby. Okay, well, know, all things considered, it's going pretty well for the Kaldorei right now. But this is just the calm before the storm.
Ooh.
Miss Pandaria, nothing happens. Warlords of Draenor, nothing happens. Legion, a lot happens. First off, Tyrande and Malfurion travel to a zone called Val Shara. This is an ancient location where Malfurion was first born and trained to be the first ever druid to exist on Azeroth under the tutelage of Cenarius. More recently, the satyr named Xavius has been corrupting the lands. During the questline, Malfurion is captured and Tyrande and the player character need to rescue him. Malfurion is an incredibly lore-rich character whose personality has been expanded upon over 21 years in books, comics, and in-game cutscenes. But for the average fan of World of Warcraft, they know him as the guy with the most hilariously pathetic voice lines where he's all like,
Tyrande, I need you. You cannot keep me from her.
Bro, he sounds like... What is it with, like, you know, these two brothers, like this guy and Illidan, and being like major goddamn... You know what I mean, right? They're just... Oh my god, man. It's soy. Yeah, it just comes off so weird, right? If he's supposed to be this, like, big guy, right? He has to... weird wings and then...
Tyrande?
Oh god.
No!
And here's the funny thing.
Maybe it's in the family, man. You know what I mean? It runs in the family, let's be honest. She must put on... Okay, did you just... She must put it on them good. Bro, okay, calm down.
It's actually Xavius impersonating Malfurion in these voice lines. But everyone kind of forgot about that detail, or it was just poorly translated. Also, during the quest line, Ysera dies, a very close ally to the Night Elves, and... Oh yeah, also during Legion, the Nightborn, a Highborn adjacent faction of elves, wanted to ally with the Alliance, but Tyrande was apprehensive because they reminded her too much of the Highborn with their limitless power and addiction to magic.
I hate you, like, as an individual person. They just hate everybody that's not like
Virtual hug.
Thank you, Treetox, for the 3 months Prime. They just hate everybody who's not like a, you know, like a Night Elf, basically. If you're not like a standard Night Elf, they hate you. They're racist. Dude, they hate everything. Holy crap. Thank you for the 3 months Prime, though, Treetox.
So they joined the Horde instead. And then, in the Battle for Azeroth expansion...
Oh yeah, that happened. That whole thing went down.
In BFA, the burning of Teldrassil is easily the most controversial event in Warcraft history. It was a radical change made to the game's story and world, something that is really rare in the MMO medium, and Night Elves suffered immensely. Easily their biggest loss since the Sundering of the world, but with great loss meant that we are able to get the brutal side of the Night Elves again, something that had been missing for the entirety of WoW since then.
Yeah.
And visually, it was awesome.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah, this is dope. That's cool. Here he's cool, right? That's sick.
Tyrande! I need you.
Tyrande partakes in an ancient ritual to become a knight.
I smile.
Oh my god, I love Platinum WoW, man. I love him. Thank you, Sephiroth, for the 4 months prime. I want to see that one more time, bro. That was so epic, man. The way, like, he destroyed that orc, literally grabbed him, he like, grabbed him into the earth so he could suffocate within the earth. And then that comes off like that. Holy crap. This is dark, though. That's crazy. Oh god.
Tyrande! I need you.
Tyrande partakes in an ancient ritual to become a knight warrior, empowering herself with the vengeance of Elune.
Damn!
This is so cool, but ultimately feels hollow when she struggles to fight Nathanos,
Oh yeah.
a guy with a bow.
This made no sense. Like, she was like this Gigachat Amazonian lady pretty much with like some goddamn sick Beyblades for her fingers, right? And then this goddamn Sylvanas simp just like overpowers her basically. Like, come on. I guess it's because he has a bow and he has ranged, right? Maybe that's why. How the hell did she not kill Nathanos? She's incredibly weak. Tyrande didn't become almost a goddess. Yeah, it made no sense. He's empowered by Valkyr and the jailer, though. Oh my god, it's always the same thing. But the jailer was there. The jailer was... Oh my god, this stupid goddamn jailer, bro. Oh, you're probably right, man, but still, right?
Make more sense if she used her powers to turn him into literal ash because, you know, empowered by one of the strongest goddesses in the universe and all that. And again, the retaliation of the Night Elves feels hollow because the Alliance wins the battle to reclaim Dark
But the jailer is the most powerful. Yeah, I know, man.
Shower, but it happens off screen. The zone is a wasteland, and they push them all the way to the crossroads in the Barrens, which is explained in mission table quest text, which can't possibly be more underwhelming. And hey,
what? A large Alliance army advances on the crossroads, attempting to cut off Mulgore and Durotor. Send our strongest warriors to meet them. Nobody ever reads these, though. You just get that add-on that, like, puts in the best possible characters and you click, like, accept, right? That's literally it. It's literally just like a mobile game within WoW.
which can't possibly be more underwhelming.
Bro.
And hey, look, oh my god, Ajara is back. Her model
shoot.
is dope. Her voice actress is amazing.
Ooh,
the
yeah.
zone she's in is beautiful.
True.
And and she's gone. Well,
All right, bye, Ajara.
waited 15 years for that
Okay.
one. The Shadowlands expansion comes out, and if the
I
Night
feel
Elves
that they have a tendency of doing that, though. Really, like, you know, we're waiting so long for something to happen with a certain character, Ashara in this case, and it just pee-pee-poos. Same thing with the Red Lich King, man. Lich King died so many goddamn years ago. Bolvar got strapped up on that table, on that wall, whatever, in the Ice Crown Citadel. We wait for so long. Oh my god, what's gonna happen to this guy? The day that you know, it free the day that it melts, like on the Ice Cream Citadel, when he's gonna come through, and what's gonna happen when, you know, Bolvar Fortraken comes out as the evil Lich King again, and he becomes like a literal NPC, bro. Oh my god, for me that was so disappointing, seeing that trailer where Sylvanas just absolutely manhandled Bolvar. God damn it, dude.
elves didn't have it hard enough. All of those elves that were murdered in the burning of Teldrassil are
It was
being
all a part of the jailer's plan. Yeah, okay. Sylvanas Rider took over. Yeah, maybe. It is the Ice Cream Citadel, guys.
funneled.
Let's not speak about that huge ass sword that's still embedded into Azeroth, and we do nothing about it. Surely there's gonna be something really cool and impactful that sword literally thrusted into the world of Azeroth by Sargeras himself will have like a major impact, right? There's no way it won't have something crazy happen with that, right? What sword? Yeah, exactly.
Directly into
It's
hell.
probably, you know what, we're probably gonna get that conclusion to that thing that happened with the sword guys in some mission table in future garrisons. How about that?
To be tortured for all eternity, which is so dark and depressing it's almost comical.
God.
Tronda manages to fight Nathanos alone and kills him this time,
Oh, wow.
and then charges into the depths of hell, killing everything in her path to save
I
the
know
souls
Kratheus.
of her people.
Oh. Oh my god.
Later in the expansion, she finds Sylvanas, the one responsible for the suffering of the Night Elves, and they have a 1v1 fight, which, again, visually, so dope.
So
but
cool,
it
yeah.
ends with Tronda's powers waning and Sylvanas just getting away, which, again, makes the badassness feel pretty hollow.
Yeah.
Hell, even if she left a small little wound on Sylvanas, it would make this scene 1,000 times better.
Yeah, if you just get nothing out of it, right? Like, she doesn't even scratch her or anything like that, and then it just makes her feel insignificant. That's true.
Ultimately,
Tyranda's real dills, though. There's very epic lore happening, Meowchick, and all you're doing is like looking at her real dills so you can like.
One responsible for the suffering of the Night Elves, and they have a 1v1 fight, which, again, visually, so dope, but it ends with Tronda's powers waning and Sylvanas just getting away, which, again, makes the badassness feel pretty hollow. Hell,
I mean, true.
even if she left a small little wound on Sylvanas, it would make this scene 1,000 times better. And ultimately, the storyline ends with Tronda realizing she must focus on the renewal of her people instead of vengeance, which is... But there's a silver lining to this. In order for Tronda to not be the Night Warrior anymore, she basically has to go through this exorcism. And we get the coolest voice acting that we've gotten in WoW for years.
Oh god. Jesus!
Now, even after she
Jesus
chooses
Christ.
renewal
What she just told you guys was to post PogChamps in my chat.
and is normal Tyrande again, she still is very mad at Sylvanas. But, you know, I'd much prefer in the world
Okay,
of
sorry,
Warcraft...
I know I'm pausing a lot, but god damn, you're right. Holy crap, her delts are literally on fire. 3D delts, lateral raises, 20 kilos each side. Holy crap. You are definitely correct about that. And you know what? I stand corrected.
having Tyrande kick Sylvanas down to the pits of hell, and then focusing on renewal of her people, but that's just me.
Yeah,
and look, there's a
damn.
lot of things about Shadowlands I can continue to talk about and how disappointing it was for the continuation of Warcraft's story, but really, I don't want this video to devolve into every single other lore video about Shadowlands that ultimately becomes Shadowlands is bad. Okay, but not everything is horrible for the Night Elves. Tyrande was given a new world seed imbued with the souls of dead Kaldorei.
Okay.
Which most likely means we're getting a new world tree at some point, but
Yeah,
it's
probably.
currently in the Emerald Dream for safekeeping. And you know, seeing the amazing scale of Dragonflight zones, it should be pretty awesome compared to Teldrassil, which in game was literally just a stump.
When you put it into perspective like that, it looks so underwhelming. It really does look underwhelming. But when you don't look at it like this, right? It does look cool still. Thank you, by the way, Breadman bro. Thank you for the 3 months prime. It does look that great, right? But still.
Surrounded by fog.
Yeah.
And you know how I just said the seed is safe? Well, that's a goddamn lie, and the suffering of the Night Elves isn't done yet. Later on in
Okay.
Dragonflight, bad guys called the Primalists invade the Emerald Dream and seal it off from being accessed from Azeroth. But it can be accessed from the Shadowlands. And the only one that can do that is Ysera, the former Green Dragonflight aspect that died in Legion. In order for her to leave the realm of death of the Shadowlands called Ardenweald, she needs someone to take her place, which Malfurion agrees to do.
Okay.
Sound convoluted?
Of course he does.
Yeah, I know. So basically, Malfurion is in timeout in the realm of death while Ysera does stuff, but eventually they'll swap places again. And in response, Tyrande says what every Night Elf fan has been thinking for the majority of Warcraft's story.
Okay.
I am so tired, Malfury.
Oh. Dude, good video. You know what? I feel like the takeaway from this video, guys, is God damn, her real deals are on fire. Look how jacked she is. This is absolutely crazy. Holy macaroni, man. She must be... She's fit. That is insane.